First things first, why did I decide to create or open a women's co-working space, right? This vision actually started for me personally about 3 years ago. There's actually an old post that I made on Cubicle, the CEO's Instagram page, where I had put on my 3 year vision board. I'd love to open a co working space someday. And if you go back in the feed, you can actually find it. I reposted it when I signed the lease for the clubhouse space because it reminded me how, there's so much power in putting into words what you want and visualizing what you want because it can actually come true for you. Basically, this thought of creating a co-working space had already been in my head for a couple years. And in 2019, when I was actually living in my hometown of Corvallis, I had given it some serious thought and had started looking at some locations. I had a meeting with a couple friends locally who were also interested in supporting that process and launching a project like that. And it never really got off the ground. I mean, we had a couple meetings. I went and toured a space downtown that I thought might work, but just the level of renovation and budget required to get that space ready was more than I was willing to invest and commit to at that time. Keep in mind, in 2019, I was only 2 years into my business. And so that would have been a huge risk to sign a commercial lease downtown, pour thousands of dollars into the rebuild and renovation. And then, there was just, I don't think my business was at the right point to be able to take on a project like this. So I'm glad that didn't actually end up anywhere, but it kind of started that spark for me. Portland has a number of amazing co-working spaces, some which are designed specifically for women. I felt like that was really missing in Salem, which is where I moved about 2 years ago. Salem has an incredible business community. It's very supportive of young leaders and entrepreneurs. And two of my friends in Salem actually own co-working spaces, which is incredible. I think it's such a great example of the power of community over competition because we've all supported each other in our businesses. We've worked together. We've hired each other before. So it's a really great environment. But for me specifically, I wanted a space where it was exclusive to women, right? To fostering a safe and collaborative environment for women to come together and succeed as business owners. And so the other two co-working spaces in town weren't specifically designed for just women. And so I thought, okay, here's like a small space in the market that I can carve out and try to create a solution for. So what happened is, I think this was early October. It might have even been late September of last year. So September 2021 or early October. Late one night, I was scrolling on Craigslist. Funny enough, people always laugh when I say that. They're like, who goes on Craigslist anymore? But Craigslist actually has a great feeder for new offices that are available for rent and really just like commercial real estate. I that's one of the websites that I have found to be really up to date with local listings, especially smaller properties. And I came across this listing and it instantly caught my eye because there was a spiral staircase in the cover photo. I will always remember this. And okay, funny enough, when I used to watch The Hills, I don't know if you guys remember, but in season 1, Lauren Conrad's apartment that she finds in season 1 of The Hills, there's this gorgeous spiral staircase. It's this little, I think one or two bedroom apartment in LA. And it's in I think it's in the opening episode of The Hills. And I always remember thinking, oh, it would be so cute to live in a little artist loft or, a small space like that with a spiral staircase. So when I was scrolling through Craigslist that night and looking at all of the real estate listings, that picture caught my eye. So I opened it up and I was like, I have to see this property immediately. And I immediately the next day texted the number on the ad and said, hey, I would love to come schedule a showing.